I really applaud that they're taking... Excuse you, Siri. I wasn't talking to you. Hey guys, it's your girl aka Geek XX Chic, and we're back with another reaction to Falcon and Winter Soldier. We're now on to episode 5. I believe this episode is called Truth. So, things escalated quickly in the last episode. We had this ending shot that was really a huge shifting point for New Cap. I love that some people have been giving him the nickname Cap'n America versus Captain. I'm like, ooh, y'all shady out there. But anyway, we saw that poor Johnny, and I say poor because we know there's a lot more going on from what we saw, like what culminated to that final scene. But sadly, in the end, he made a very poor decision and decided to do a public execution of one of these Flag Smasher members and gave us that image of a bloodied shield, which was something that Steve Rogers just never would have done. And with all of that going on, we still have Zemo in the wind because, unfortunately, in a badly timed fight between the Dora Milaje and the group, he managed to slip away and escape. So lots of things going on right now, lots of questions that still need to be answered, but biggest one obviously being what is the fate of Johnny Walker as Captain America going forward. So I'm very excited to get into this episode, but before we do, you know the drill. If you've been here before and you like what you see, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be notified when I do more reactions to this show, as well as other Marvel goodies and anything else nerdy and geeky that you might be interested in. So hopefully you'll join the family. We would love to have you here. All right, that out of the way, guys. Without further ado, let's get into the episode right about now. Oh no, what you running from, bro? You cannot run from your conscience, sir, or your trauma, even with that serum. Yeah, he knows he done messed up. Oh, kneeling with the shield now. Stumbling under the weight of the shield. So, who wants to talk to him?
If you explain what happened, they may consider your record. We don't want anyone else to get hurt.
Just hand the shield over, crazy. Slowly now.
You made a mistake.
A big one.
You don't want to do this.
Really? We gotta fight you? Okay. I'm so over the testosterone in this show already. You freaking thought. No. Nobody touches Bucky's face. Why does no one ever punch for the crotch? One good groin punch in this fight would be over.
Why are you making me do that?
Those are classic abuser words, by the way. Look at this psycho! He's gonna kill them now? Can we get the Dora Milaje back, please?
I am Captain America.
Okay, Drooly, just don't spit in my face. It's a whole panorama going on right now. This man is insane. Are you gonna take his whole arm? Oh, that had to hurt. You lucky that's all they did? Bitch slap. Damn. It had to be like that, John. It had to be like that. I think they snapped your spine. And I'm not even mad at it right now. Because how dare you? Wow. I thought he'd just take it. Look at Sam, like, look what you did to my friend's shield, you bastard. He's just thinking in that moment, he's probably thinking, if I had kept this, the shield wouldn't have been used for such a horrible thing.
She's got people helping her from all over the world, on all platforms. She's really, really good at this thing.
he says with mild admiration.
Wait, yo, you forgot the wings.
Keep them.
Ooh! Is this a turning point? He's walking away from the wings? Walking away from Falcon?
It is the order of this council that you are no longer to act in any capacity as a representative of the United States government or its military.
Used and dumped.
I only ever did what you asked of me, what you told me to be and trained me to do, and I did it. And I did it well.
I'm getting such Kurt Russell vibes right now.
You will hold no rank in retirement and receive no benefits.
Damn. AKA, we are washing our hands of you.
You built me.
Ooh! Ooh! Woo! There's some truth.
Well, these boots are not made for walking.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus? But why? All right, just get in between this moment.
I'll be in touch.
Well, looks like you're about to become somebody else's bitch.
How many times do we have to pay with our lives just to be citizens of this goddamn planet?
Maybe stop committing crimes then. What's this? Sokovian Monument.
But you, they literally programmed you to kill Jay.
Can you stop throwing that in his face? Would you like to join your family now, like you wanted to at the end of Civil War? Oh, he's ready for it. Blank. Symbolic. He's not that man no more. Ha! He got even worse. I knew my girls would show up. He has to make up, you know? I was mad at him last week.
It would be prudent to make yourself scarce in Wakanda for the time being, White Wolf.
Fair enough.
Aww. See? They're friends.
Hey.
Yeah? I love you. Let's hang out. Oh, are we back to see Isaiah?
Those stars and stripes don't mean nothing good to me.
Woo! Preach.
But you were a super soldier like Steve. You could have been the next.
The next? What?
In the 50s, son.
Blonde hair, blue eyes, stars and stripes. The entire world's been chasing that great white hope since he first got dosed with that serum.
Steve did not put you in jail.
They don't tell us what it is.
Of course not.
They tell us it's tetanus. They send us on missions. Talking about blowing the POW camp to hell to hide the evidence. But those are my men. My brothers, not evidence. And what did I get for saving their lives?
30 years. Oh, God.
But the world's different now.
It's
I know people.
not.
Man, that's why you're here. You think I wouldn't be dead in a day if you brought me out?
Thank you.
Because you got that white man's shield. They were worried my story might get out.
Woo! This truth is scalding.
They erased me. My history. But they've been doing that for 500 years.
Damn.
They will never let a black man be Captain America.
He said it out loud.
And if they did, no self-respecting black man would ever want to be.
The amount of truth that was just spoken in the last 10 minutes is more than I think American television has ever had. Holy crap. Damn, Marvel, Disney. They spelt it out for anybody who had questions. Woo, that scene was heavy, y'all.
Well, how do we get it off the truck?
Miss you, boo.
called in a favor from the Wakandans.
Did they fix your wings?
Sam!
Bucky, will you stop being so sweet? I can't.
Why didn't you use the metal arm?
Well, I don't always think of it immediately. Right-handed. What's going on? You want any help?
Yes. Yes. You can use somebody superpowered right now.
I'm Bucky.
I'm sure you are.
Sam.
I like the way you smile at Sister Girls. I see you, Bucky. I see you. Woo, yes, she sees him too.
Got a hotel room for the night. Crash, you know.
So you're just gonna set me up like that, huh?
Well, I don't want to make it weird for your family.
Just stay here.
Right?
The people in this town are the most welcoming people in the world. They don't care if you wear small t-shirts or if you have 6 toes or if your mom's your aunt. If you
Okay, I get it. I mean,
Mom's your aunt?
people are nice.
God damn!
I know he's resting easier, knowing that the man who's responsible got his justice.
Yeah, good. Pour on that guilt. Sis looks suspicious. She's like, this boy is sus. He is snapped. Look at him. He's completely nuts. This is what's wrong with the world. This guy is crazy. He's just wandering around the streets, free as a bird, with serum in his veins.
I can give you double this time. I promise you won't regret saying yes. So what's it gonna be?
She is the power broker. Okay. We'll have to see what's up with Sharon.
Hey.
Yes. Smooth. It's fine, Sam. I mean, you could be their stepdaddy. I'm sure they'd be okay with it.
Hi, Sarah.
I love the way he just ratted Sam out too. It's just like, I didn't do the. He pulled it out, and I was just here, sis. Don't be mad at me, okay? What'd the tree do to you, fam?
I owe you an apology.
Appreciate that, boo.
Closest thing I've got left to a family. So when you retired, it
hurt.
Made me feel like I had nothing left.
Look at this honesty. They didn't have to do a face soul gazing exercise.
You gotta stop looking to other people to tell you who you are.
Tell him.
I've been making amends.
You weren't amending, you were avenging. You were stopping all the wrongdoers you enabled as the Winter Soldier. Because you thought it would bring you closure.
How much was he paying that other therapist?
Look at these people and say,
this is better.
I'm sure there's at least one person in that book who needs closure about something, and you're the only person who can give it to him.
Mochi.
It doesn't.
You're not gonna say bye to Sarah? Or? Okay. Ooh, this shot with them both walking different directions. Man, the cinematography in this show is top notch. Okay, Anthony, let him know. COVID pounds where? Woo! That was your head, sir. Look at them, look at him. Black man, black man, black man. We doing acrobatics and parkour and shit. I have to ruin the mood with this.
So we're working with criminals now.
Right? Why not? You are one.
We are criminals.
At least she's real about that.
And we get a killer.
This looks a lot like a panic room. Y'all gonna be locked up in this, aren't you? Okay, the Wakandans have your fingerprints and everything. I'm scared. I want to see it. Put it on. Let's see, let's see. New and improved. Are you freaking kidding me? Ending scene. Is this idiot making his own shield? I don't know, I guess give him props for arts and crafts. I don't know. I'm assuming his is not vibranium, but then again, I have no idea. Woo, y'all, that was, let me just take a minute. Have some water. Need to hydrate after that. Well, guys, that is the latest episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and that was heavy. Holy crap. Let me start with some of the lighter stuff, and then I'll leave the heavier stuff on the episode for the end, because I know not everybody wants to get into the dark and the deep. And I usually try to keep it pretty light on this channel, but you know, I'll do the lighter, funner stuff first, so to speak, and then we'll get into the heavier social commentary towards the end. First off, let's talk about Mr. Walker. Let's talk about our slightly cracked superhero here. He is completely gone. Like, he is... Lamar's death was clearly his breaking point. He snapped, and he has not come back. I don't think he's ever... I don't know if he can come back. I don't know if his wife has realized that he has jumped over that precipice. But he is gone. Okay? Boy hasn't been able to keep his head straight since this whole thing happened. He's just kind of ticking to the side and looking around all crazy like he's not okay. Full on psychological break, and no one is noticing this. And it's such a commentary on actual veterans and what so many of them go through when they have experienced trauma, when they've experienced PTSD, and people just kind of shrug them off and be like, oh, well, you know, they're fine, and leave them to be in these states and function in the world. Like, no, they need help. He needs help. He literally needs to be put on like a psychiatric hold and evaluated. He's not okay. But no, we're just going to leave a man who's literally superpowered and crazy walking the streets, doing whatever he wants. Okay. Whew. There's a lot of other metaphors I could apply to that, but we're not going to get into that. But yes, we have Walker snapped, forcibly had the shield removed. That fight with Sam and Bucky was brutal. It's sad that it came to that, but it kind of had to, I guess, because there was no way Walker was giving that shield up voluntarily. It's become a crutch for him in a very strange way. It's become a justification point. It's become a... He's kind of put everything that he believes himself to be and all of his worth, it seems to me, into that shield. And that's dangerous because it's a tool. It's something that exists. Even for Cap, that shield was a tool. It was something that was a motivator for him, but it was by no means what he identified himself with. But that's what Walker has done. And the weight that he has put, like that part we saw when he was in the warehouse and he kind of knelt down after everything, it's, to me, that was very symbolic of the weight he is just being crushed under, that he is put into this shield and into this persona of Captain America. It all kind of came out in the trial, or I don't know what you call it, the hearing, I guess, where they told him that he was stripped of his rank, that he's no longer Captain America, that he's no longer got all the rights and freedoms and clearances he had, that he's basically just been used and dumped by the government. The speech he gave them was so poignant, although ragey, about how, like, he is exactly what they built him to be. The U.S. military, their job is literally to break down whoever you are and rebuild you into basically a mindless soldier to do as you're told. And then when they're done with you, after they've broken you, they toss you aside and tell you to figure out your life now because they don't need you. And his speech letting them know that, like, what do you mean? Like, why are you slapping me on the wrist right now for doing exactly what you've trained me to do? He's not a killer. He didn't learn how to be lethal on his own. They taught him that. They sent him into Afghanistan to commit atrocities and do it in the name of the country. Most people cannot go into that dark place and then just come out and just shrug it off when they take off the uniform. It doesn't work like that. Hence why things like PTSD and long-term trauma exist in these people, because it's not natural for us. It's not natural for us to go and kill people, first and foremost, but it's certainly not natural to go and do that, to often be indiscriminate about who we hurt and then come back and just act like everything's fine. Like, that's sociopathic behavior, and most of us aren't sociopaths, right? So, yeah, John is not okay, and he hasn't been. He's not been okay since he got back from Afghanistan, clearly, as we saw in the last episode when he was talking with Lamar about it. So, I know some people are arguing about whether or not John has PTSD. I think that, yes, some of it is that stereotypical what America really is in many ways, as we're seeing in all the social turmoil happening in the U.S. right now around exposing the nature of what America has been in the negative side of things for a very long time. But I also do think he is traumatized. I do think he is still dealing with a lot of that. I do believe the things that he said to Lamar and Sam and Bucky in that court were all very, very true of him, for him. That he does want to do his best, that he really wanted this to be, he wanted to be this thing, he wanted to be this grandiose idea of what he thought Captain America was and what it was supposed to represent, and that it just went sideways, and he just, he's spiraling, and he really doesn't have any idea why or how to stop it. Like, I do think that is very genuine of him, and again, I don't think Walker is a bad person. I'll put that out there. I don't think he's evil. I think that he is broken, and I think he's very angry, and I think he's very entitled. And that combination is a Molotov cocktail of destruction right now, because now he's got superpowers and no one watching him or checking him. Until he starts to see that everything that has happened has been choices that he made, wrong ones, understandable because of the way he was conditioned, but still his decisions, nothing will change. Because we saw it in his fight with Sam and Bucky. He was like, why are you making me do this? You're making me do this. No, sir, you're choosing violence right now. Yeah, that was a very interesting deterioration of Johnny. And then that scene that we saw with him and Lamar's family was really, really sad, to be perfectly honest. Bless his family's heart. They thought they were saying all the right things, but with Johnny lying to them about who he killed and the fact that Carly was the one who did it and that she's still out there, of course it was a huge guilt trip, that entire visit, and him swallowing all this accolades that they're giving him over what a good person he was, over how much Lamar looked up to him. It's just more hot coals on this idea that that Johnny's been trying to live up to all this time. And it's just, again, just adding more stress to the fractured brain and psyche that we've got going on with him. It's interesting, though, because I think the woman, I don't know if that was Lamar's sister or his wife, I'm not sure, but she was looking at Johnny like she did not buy what he was selling. Yeah, Johnny going out, making his own shield now, going rogue, deciding he's going to be his version of Captain America, no matter what y'all think. We'll have to see how that goes, because, again, we saw with Carly in the last episode talking about how Captain America of Steve's age no longer is relevant, that we need a new Cap who's willing to do the dirty things or get his hands dirty in order to be successful. And I know some viewers feel like that's true. Some people are behind Walker in the way he's been behaving, whereas others think that Sam's path is better. Is it better to have the both of them? Is it better to have somebody who's willing to go in there and do the hard things like what's probably going to have to be done with Carly? Or is it better to have Sam, who's willing to be more like Steve and try to talk it out? I don't have the right answer for that. I think that you have to use different tools for different situations, right? Yeah, that's kind of where we're at with Johnny. We'll have to see what happens. I feel like he's going to lay a little bit low for the moment, though, because he knows the world is not really patting him on the back at the moment, but he's a man on a mission. What that mission is, I know what that mission is. What I was going to say, he's going to look for Carly. He's going to want to finish what he started because he's feeling embarrassed. And that guilt, especially over what Lamar's parents said, I think is going to be a driver for him to start doing way, way worse going forward unless someone's there to stop him, which I'm wondering if it'll ever come down to him being stopped. We'll just have to see. Oh, and yeah, I guess I should also mention that lady who came in, Val, I think we called her. I'm wondering if she represents the power broker. Now, at first I thought she might be somebody completely different, but now I'm starting to think that maybe that Sharon sent her. and that she just wants, that's where she can get more serum, because we saw Sharon taking that phone call saying she could give double, and I'm almost positive she's talking about the serum. She doesn't have serum anymore, but if she gets Johnny, she can get his blood and make more serum. Plot thickens. Sharon, what are you up to, girl? All right, outside of that, we also had, going on to things that are on the lighter side of things, oh my god, the Sam and Bucky montage was great! I love these two. Like, obviously, for the first half of this season, we saw them bickering and fighting pretty much at every free moment that they had. But in this episode, they finally got a chance to just chill and be the friends that I think Steve always wanted them to be and always saw that they could be, but they were always too busy competing with each other to do it. But it was really fun to see them have this distraction of fixing the boat as a way to kind of let go of all of the, you know, the bickering nonsense that they've been on since the show started, and just work on something together and bond a little bit and just kind of do something positive that had nothing to do with them or Steve, but really just helping, you know, Sam's family and the community. And so I thought that was really a great little montage. Love seeing Bucky flirt with his sister. That was adorable. I don't hate it. Just saying. I'm still not saying that, you know, that Sam may not, that Bucky may not have had a little something going on in Wakanda somewheres. But, you know, if that ain't happening, if that's not gonna happen, I'm just saying, like, it just looks like Bucky's got a flavor for chocolate. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay with Bucky liking to switch it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You know, we had the lovely Japanese girl at the beginning of the show. We maybe had a little bit of AO. Now we might have a little bit of... I'm fine. I'm just saying. He's got good taste in women. That's all I'm saying. And I love the conversation they finally had at the end about the shield finally. What they should have had in the beginning, quite frankly, instead of throwing around accusations. But we finally got to the root of why he was so upset about Sam giving up the shield. Bucky saying way more to Sam than he's probably ever said to his therapist about it. And Sam, being the wonderful therapeutic person he is, telling him that the only way he's going to start to really live this life going forward now that he's free of this conditioning is to stop worrying about what other people say, stop letting other people label him, you know, whether it's Zemo labeling him a killer, whether it's Sam or Steve telling him that he's, you know, he's a good guy or whatever. Like, he's got to determine for himself who Bucky is going to be going forward. And I love that he said acts of service are one of the best ways to atone for anything. And he was saying, like, maybe instead of just apologizing to people, do things that will actually benefit them, even if it's not going to benefit you, right? So giving closure to people, like our man from the first episode, who still has no idea what really happened to his son, who's lived with that question mark in his head all these years, giving him that closure, even though it might mean that he's going to lose that friendship. It's very, very possible that Sam will lose that friendship, or Bucky, sorry, I keep messing up their names today. But yeah, it's possible Bucky will lose that friendship, but that closure, that invaluable information is probably going to be the best thing you can ever do for him. Yes, which kind of just dovetails really quickly into Zemo. I love that Zemo really didn't try to run or hide. I think he kind of knew, because honestly, he probably has enough of a network that he probably could have stayed underground again. I thought that maybe he would try to go after Carly himself, but he basically just waited on Sam to come get him, which, I don't know. Again, maybe he just figured that the Wakandans would find him anyway, but he's going to be on that floating island that we saw back in Civil War. And apparently for the rest of his days, but we know that's not going to be the case. Zemo's too good of a character. I'm certain we will see him again, but for now it looks like he is out of play. All right, now let's take a quick journey into this conversation, the linchpin of this episode, which was the conversation between Sam and Isaiah. In this conversation, we finally got more of the details around why Isaiah was imprisoned. It did seem a bit strange in the first or second episode when he said that he got imprisoned for his years of service. It seems strange that they would just automatically put him in jail and not just maybe tell him to live low for the rest of his life. But now we found out that there was a little extra to the story, which was basically that when some of these test subjects, obviously black test subjects, were captured during a battle, the Americans planned on bombing the POW camp to erase the fact that they had created these soldiers. And our guy Isaiah found out about it and said, not on my watch, and went and saved them because no one else was. And of course the government was not happy about that, and so like he said, it's sad. In the end they ended up dying anyways because apparently they did not take as well to the serum as he did, but still, it's the thought that counts. He didn't want them to just be wiped out. I love that line where he said, to me they were my friends and my comrades, they weren't evidence. And so anyway, we found out that resulted in him being imprisoned for a long time while they tested, because of course he was the successful test subject of whatever cocktail they created, and they just forced him into being a lab rat for 30 years. Clearly did not care how much they hurt him and maimed him in the process. Those scars were so triggering and sad. And hearing that he never got to see his wife again, that they lied to her and said that he died, that they held all of the letters she sent to him, like just unimaginably cruel to this man. We heard him talk about why he, after everything that he went through and what he saw happen, like not only to him and his other fellow test subjects, but also the Red Tails, which is a great story that y'all should look up if you're not sure what that meant. Just seeing how historically black people, and not just black people, but a lot of other minorities as well, but since we're talking about black people in this episode, have been used, and how their contributions have been erased from U.S. history for various reasons. And basically he was like, look, I've seen this, like rinse, repeat many times, how people who look like us are not treated properly. And as a result, Isaiah felt like that is why he could never take up the mantle of being Captain America, because he's like, what America represents is not the same for all people, and as such, he did not want that mantle. He did not want to pick it up, and that's why he kind of then imposed onto Sam, like no self-respecting black person would want to pick up that shield either. That was a layered statement and a very controversial one in many ways, but it was his feeling, right? This is his experience. He is speaking from a very bitter place, and that's what Sam called him out on. I was like, you are very bitter. He's like, wouldn't you be if you've been through what I've been through? And understandably, right? I think there's not a soul who would not understand why Isaiah has no faith in the U.S. government, or any of the things that, America says it's about. It was not that for him. That was not his experience. And that is sadly the case for so many black Americans and other minorities, that America's not, what they advertise is not the experience that they've received. But at the same time, I understand where Sam, Sam was just taking it in. Like, I like that he just kind of wanted to hear the story, gave Isaiah the space to say his experience without the filter of whatever the government would have tried to cover up, and just be heard. I'm sure that felt really good for Isaiah to be able to say what he needed to say and express his experience. And I think Sam was also wanting a little validation around some of the reasons why he likely said no to the shield in the beginning as well, which is that America ain't ready for all this, and that, my America is very different than the America that other people experience. That scene was so heavy. It was really a lot. It was a lot to take in, but it was just beautifully done and beautifully written. And I just want to take a minute to say, again, thank you, Marvel and Disney, for allowing this to be put out. I know it's heavy, and I know a lot of folks feel some type of way about that type of real world heaviness being brought into a Marvel show, but I really like that they took the opportunity to talk to this message and to let people outside of the U.S. understand what's going on. Because I know that for a lot of non-Americans and North Americans in general, they don't really understand the dynamics, or they don't understand the nuances of the cultural clash between black and white people in America. I think it's important that these things kind of are explained to a wider audience in a way that they can somewhat get the understanding of where Sam is coming from, and outside of just saying a black man couldn't wear the shield, right? Because it just seems like it's just a simplistic statement if he had said that in the beginning. But now through this story, I feel like they've given a lot more of a layered answer and a more complex and understandable answer as to why Sam was apprehensive. It was deep. It was a lot. I'm not going to talk too much more about it. I mean, they said it better than I ever could, but I think it was really important that they had that conversation and allowed us to see more of Sam's thinking, but through Isaiah's storytelling. I think that was really well done. But I also like that at the end, when Sam was talking with Sarah, and Sarah was like, are you going to let this man and what he went through and what he said be your story? And Sam was like, no. Like, I think we have to respect what he went through. We need to understand what he went through and understand that that is still the experience of a lot of people. And obviously, Sam would have experienced some level of that now. But like he said, we can't nothing will be accomplished by holding on to the bitterness of the past, right? Is really what it comes down to with these shows, honestly. So good. What did you guys think of this episode? Please, I'm sure a lot of people got a lot of thoughts and feelings and emotions. Please feel free to let that all in the comments. I love reading them and getting involved with you. Also, what do you think that Walker is up to? What do you think he's going to make his next move? Please join in the conversation. I love getting involved with you guys. And if you guys made it to the end of this long-ass commentary, please go ahead and hit that like button. And if you want to see more from this geeky face, please click subscribe. Until next time, see ya!